Welcome back to Friday Briefing. As Alia mentioned, we're joined by the one and only, a man of many names, Okiyah Omtatah. Thank you so much for making time. Welcome to the Friday Briefing.
Thank you.
Now, you have been characterized as an active street protester. You have countless nights in police custody. Talk about litigating matters of public interest. Now, do all this characterize the person that you are today?
A small part of it, not much of what I am, because I think that's what the media has chosen to portray me as. But I think it captures about 1% of who I am.
Now let's talk about the 99% then. Who is Okiyah Omtatah, apart from the activism and being the people's advocate, apart from doing business as you've oftenly mentioned? Yes.
Well, I'm also a playwright. I'm one of the top playwrights, I think, on the continent.
In the continent, not just Kenya?
Not just Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, because my books are doing well. And I'm published here and in the US. And so I think that part of my life is not known to many people.
Okay.
Yeah, except those who study literature. Who then when I get to university, they read some of my books and stuff like that.
Well, that's very interesting. Yeah. There's a play that stood out. It was actually by Butere Girls, if I'm not wrong, in 2013.
No, it was not. That one was not my play. That play was authored by Senator Kakamega Senator. I think it's called Malala.
Okay.
And what happened is that the authorities did not like the theme of the play. I think it was around resource issues, so they banned it. And I thought that how can you ban a play that's being done by schools? So I decided to take up the challenge, and I said, no, you cannot ban a play by students. And I think Justice Majanja wrote a very good judgment on terms of freedom of expression, which as I see being used in very, very many suits. But they went ahead and they were allowed to perform, although they were denied a chance to perform before the president. But me, what I liked was that at least they were able to go to Mombasa and perform. I was offered, in fact, it was your media house, offered to fly me to Mombasa when the occasion was on.
Okay.
But I said it's not about me.
Yes.
All I wanted was the kids to go to Mombasa, so I did not go to Mombasa myself. I said it's not about me. It's about the kids performing their play, freedom of expression, which is a cardinal principle in the Constitution, because it's one of the rights under the Bill of Rights.
Yes. Talking about the freedom of expression,
yeah.
Have you always been outspoken ever since back in primary school? Because right now we are assured that you're a very outspoken individual.
Well, when I look over my report cards, especially in high school.
Okay.
When I was in a seminary school, I was training to be a Catholic priest. So I find comments that very obedient, but outspoken.
There was always a but.
Yeah, running through. So, but I was never suspended in school, but I always stood up to the authorities. And I think when I was in the formation, the seminary, they don't just believe in giving you information. They also believe in something they call formation, to work on your person. So like my ability to stand up to the authorities was developed by this fact that on Sundays, you could meet the big man and the teachers, and you have some form of caucus, and you could point out what mistakes they were, and whatever was said remained there. It was never taken out against you. And there was always a big stress on distinguishing between fear and respect. We are told respect everybody, but fear nobody but God.
Well, that's very true.
Yeah.
Something that most people know you of, activism.
Yeah.
When did this actually start? Was it still back in high school, or did you find yourself growing into that role?
I think I always stood out, and I questioned things.
Okay.
And I did it in a way that was not rude. And even one thing that eventually the police, like when I did my street campaigns, one reason I used to carry a chain was to show that if stones are thrown, I'm not among the people throwing stones. I'll be holding my chain, so any footage coming out, they will always know that this guy has never thrown stones.
Yes.
So in all the demos I've done, I've never thrown a stone, I've never insulted a policeman, because I know who my enemy is or who my opponent is It's not the policeman who is trying to put some bread on his table to educate his kid and maybe is being misused, and who also needs just to be liberated as the rest of Kenyans are. So that has helped me to have a very good rapport with the police, because I never insulted them, I never did anything bad to them. But when they arrested me, I cooperated, but I do because I knew my target was the people, the deep state, the people who are running this country and who do things against the law. So in my activism is really anchored on my love. I love life, and I love fellow human beings. And I believe that if I want to worship God, I must worship my fellow man, because we are told that we are created in the image and likeness of God. So if the closest I can get to God on this side of the grave is you, you are God to me. So why should anybody why should anybody desecrate my God? So I see that love for fellow human beings is what drives me. I happen, as I told you, I was training to be a Catholic priest. I have got this strong belief in the Good Samaritan principle of life. You are the salt of the earth. You can influence things. And I believe that to make the world better, you don't have to do big things. You need to do just a small thing like picking a thorn on the road and throwing it away.
Yeah.
Will make the world better for those who don't have shoes when they walk on that road.
Speaking of small things that actually make the world better, a 78-kilogram chain is not a small thing, don't you think?
It is a small thing in the equation, because there were things that we had to do, because the police were so crude in the way they used to deal with things. They would come and separate you. They would come and do funny things. And so the chain came in very handy, because when you held onto the chain, the police were unable to separate you. And if they charged, you were able to tie them, and you could even bring them down.
Okay.
So the chain was a very effective tool. And the weight of the chain was part of the strategy for intimidating the other side, because you have this big chain and you go charging at this policeman, it sort of mixes them up. But all of it was fun.
It was fun. Do you still have it in your possession?
No, it is there's a court case I'm still accused. It's a 2011 case when we locked up Ongeri's office.
Yes.
And there was a bit of science that went through, because they had put all the citizens Saskaris around there, and we had to get that chain up there. And you know that this funny thing they always used to check people with.
Exactly, yeah.
And some of us have a bit of science. So what we did is we packed the chain with magnets. And those things could not...
So the metal detector couldn't sense
it. Failed.
Oh my.
So we passed with the chain like we were carrying a loaf of bread.
Okay.
So we went and locked Ongeri's office. And up to now, they believe we bribed our way through. We didn't. We just used science.
It was simple science.
Science say we are smart.
Your family man, in case your child happens to do the same exact thing, smuggle in something into school and does the same thing, uses science to his benefit, what would you do?
No, to a school I wouldn't allow it, because a school is an authority.
Yes.
A school is not a democracy. A school is an authority.
Okay.
Just like a church is an authority. It has got its own structures, its rules. It's not an open space for democratic engagement, so I wouldn't encourage that kind of thing in a school. But if he did it out here after he finishes school and he comes out and becomes an active citizen, I'll be very proud of him. Because I think life is short.
Yeah.
And life needs to be lived. And the best way to live life is to engage and make people and believing that something better can come out of what we have. And my strongest belief is that I was born in Kenya when it was a third world, and my dream is to die in Kenya, which is a first world, and it can be achieved. And I see a lot of pain. Like, if you look at titanium, we discovered titanium, one of the strongest metals in the world, able to make us billions of shillings if we just value added on it, and we begin exporting the mountain. Total nonsense. Today, our president is begging for some 300 billion to do the railway. He is begging in China and they're kicking him around. And yet, just a few months ago, there was a contract whereby the this Dutch company, Meshach, sold its stake to Total. And the Meshach owns about 35% of the Tulo oil in Turkana. So Total Kenya, through the international organ, have made this acquisition. There's no capital gains tax paid. And if you calculate from about 800 billion shillings,
okay,
a capital gains tax of about 35%, how much money is that? That's money that our president should be getting to do his work, instead of going to humiliate himself begging the Chinese. You see, so when I see this kind of things happening, I say that this country needs to be better managed. We need to know what we own, and we need to use what we own, what we have. Because to me, poverty is not extreme deprivation. Poverty is the inability to use your resource.
Well, that's very true.
Yes.
Even as we continue highlighting various issues that affect the country, I just want to put you on the spot and see how good your oratory skills are in terms of being lingual and bilingual, especially in the English language. So I'll just direct you to that particular camera. Kindly feel free to read as you see individuals who do news read. The floor is yours. Okay.
First of all, your English is wrong. Because when I look at the sentence, the sentence is messed up. If I was doing that sentence,
how would you do it?
I would have taken the word conference to go before the word, after the word first, so that, because when you say first arid and semi-arid land conference, you will lose it.
Okay, now let's change it. You can change it. Feel free, do it.
What I would do is, the first conference on arid and semi-arid land has come to an end in Malindi, Kilifi County, with counties seeking to engage with the Commission on Revenue Allocation to reverse the number of beneficiaries to the Equalization Fund. Our Coastal Region reporter, Francis Matalaki, attended the closing ceremony and now reports.
Water, water, water. This is the main priority that 29 counties under the arid and semi-arid land agreed to embark on as they journey towards unlocking potential towards accelerated national development.
Water, 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 water everywhere. We came here not just to look at the challenges, not just to lament about the problems, but to also look at possible solutions to those challenges and to those problems. And we want to take that away from us. And I hope when we meet in Kajiado, we'll be very happy to hear from our ASAL counties.
This can be debated, can be argued, and can be agreed upon at that level. So that when we go to the bigger platform, that is the ASAL conference in Kajiado, at least most of these things that have the potential of dividing us will have been debated, will have been resolved, and a solution before coming to Kajiado will have been found.
They say this is the only way to ensure historical injustices are turned to their advantage.
Livestock development, dealing with drought, water scarcity and salinity, drought, climate, risk adaptation and management, health and nutrition, peace and security, among many very important demographics, should be a priority for both levels of government.
I think is a good policy direction. However, as county governments, what we are saying is that the good intentions in the policy should also be backed with the requisite resources.
With the Deputy President William Ruto cooling down the temperatures on Equalization Fund, they have resolved to engage the Commission on Revenue Allocation, seeking to reverse an earlier decision, putting together 34 counties as beneficiaries of the Equalization Fund instead of the initial 14 counties. As the ASAL conference comes to an end, the next stop will be Kajiado County in Amboseli National Park, and the leaders are saying it is time to hit the ground and make sure that accelerated development has been achieved in the 29 counties. Francis Mtalaki, KTN News, Malindi, Kilifi County.
Well, as our new anchor actually said, Francis Mtalaki reporting from the coastal region about the ASL conference that has just concluded. Quick question. Between the School of Education and the School of Life, which one do you accredit most of your success to?
Well, I think, first of all, I talked about formation in seminary training other than information. There was information and formation. Mm-hmm. So we spent half a day in class. Then in the afternoon, we had to do extracurricular work, going to do to clean up, because we didn't have workers. We used to clean up, I think we had only 2 workers or something in the compound. We had to weed the gardens, we had to wash the dishes, we had to do all that. We only had cooks who could cook, because we couldn't go and cook. So after that, we could do all those things and go to games, then come and have our evening prayers. Then after evening prayers, we had what we call the grand silence, mm-hmm. to discover the value of being silent. So between 7 in the evening and 7 in the morning, you are supposed to be silent, talk to your God. And so that also helped me in terms of formation. And then when I came outside, I realized that, and I came out not because of morality or faith.
Okay.
I came out because I fell sick and I could not continue with the priestly studies.
Well, we'll definitely delve into that later on. Now we have to take a short break now, but we'll come back and try and put a finger into. There have been questions about who exactly finances your legal activities in the courts. We'll try and highlight this even as we take a short break right here on the Friday briefing. Feel free. Just tell us we're taking a short break and we'll be back with plenty more. Okay. You can do that.
Yeah, sure.
Then do it.
I think you're taking up.
Yes, we are, but...
This is KTN News.